Here's the grid then for the second heat for the X30 seniors. It's going to be a 9-lap race here around the 1.7 kilometre long superfast Zuera circuit. I'm Chris Hartley here trackside for you, and there's a reminder of how they're going to line up on the grid. Berke Besler on pole position, the Turkish driver. Carlos Leon starts second, the Spaniard. Then it's a Spanish driver, Mauricio van der Laan, third on the grid. Hugo Ellis from Great Britain, fourth on the grid. Row 3, we've got Taylor Greenfield from Peru and David Bowman from France. Row 4, Jonathan Brown from Ireland, Ollie Varney from Great Britain. Row 5, Brett Ward, another British driver, second in the championship. Struggled in qualifying yesterday, but they have worked on the setup at MLC Motorsport. And both Brett and Ollie, who I caught a word with earlier on, are much more confident of their chances today. They both had a good run through. Brett went from 9th to 4th, and Ollie Varney picked up 3 places in the race to finish in 5th place. So both of those drivers having tweaked the setup yesterday, feeling much more confident today. So watch for them to come through. They reckoned that because we had high winds on Thursday when they were both going well, then the winds dropped yesterday. It really did affect what they had to do with the gearing of the setup. So Ollie hinting that they've opted for a bit more of a more straight line speed is perhaps the way they've gone with their setup, without giving too much away, but that was what he was hinting at. So that is Brett Ward 9th on the grid. Atik Kamala is going to be alongside him, the Finnish driver, to complete the top 10. Row 6 will have also Escartin from France, Mike Bartels, who we will hear from on Telemundi TV later on today. He, the Netherlands driver, starting on the outside of row 6 in 12th place. Row 7, we've got Belen Garcia from Spain and Corentin Pelletier from France. Row 8, Guillaume Peugeot-Beyer from Spain and Christophe Chany from France. Row 9, Saul Riker-Robinson from Great Britain and Maxime Robin from France. And then from Ireland, Sean McMahon is going to be lining up on his own on the 10th row of the grid. Race 1 then won by Mauricio van der Laan, Carlos Leon 2nd, Hugo Ellis 3rd. Berke Besler had a slowish start, then came through. He led the race at one point. He finished 2nd in the end, but picked up a 5-second penalty because his front fairing was not in the correct position after a bit of contact out on circuit. The front fairings easy to push in, and if they're out of position, if there's been some contact, even if it wasn't really deliberate, you still get penalised. So Berke needs to have a good result here because he was classified down in 9th place. There he is then, bang in the middle of the picture on Telemundi TV, number 223. On a crest of a wave. He's driving really well so far this year, Berke Besler. Let's see how he gets on. Relatively new to this class in X30. New tyres to learn with the Comet tyres, new carburettor to learn. And also here for the first time at Zuera, Berke Besler, which surprised me. So a lot to learn, but he's going well. What can he do from pole position? Here we go, 9 laps of racing. Gets underway as they cross the start-finish line. Berke Besler goes through. Yellow flag's waving, which suggests, I think, that's going to be a full start as they go down towards turn 2. Yellow flag's waving everywhere, and they all begin to ease up. The message goes through to the drivers. So it was a little bit messy on the start line. Nigel Edwards, who is the senior clerk of the course this weekend, not quite happy with the way they were formed up. So they'll have to come back around and have another crack at this. It was a little bit messy from the drivers. They weren't completely compacted together. Berke Besler did make a good start. Down they go into turn 6. Start to bunch themselves back up together now. And the outside row is difficult as ever in karting. It's not quite as bad here as it was in Italy, where if you were stranded on the outside row, Berke Besler had this problem because he missed out on pole position to Brett Ward by just a whisker on the Friday in the first round. That put him 2nd for all the heats. And I think the best he ever came out of the first corner was in 3rd place, but normally he was dropping to 4th or 5th as the inside line just squeezed past him into turn 1. And that was the story of his weekend. And even in the final, he dropped to 4th place from 2nd on the grid and then came back, showed his speed and came through to win. You can see Berke looking over his shoulder to make sure everybody is where they should be and with him. 219 to the right of the picture is Carlos Leon, and 236 is Mauricio van der Laan. They're both in similar colour schemes because they are both teammates on the FA chassis, the Fernando Alonso chassis in that blue and yellow colour scheme. They're both with the LTP competition team, and they're both trying to get past the pole sitter who races for Bouvon Power, which is Berke Besler. So another try at this. Watch for 2 on 4. Hugo Ellis as well. He went well. He's been going quickly all weekend long. He's going to be a factor this weekend for the championship. Here's the head-on shot then as they run towards turn 1. Lights go out. Race gets underway. It's a clean start this time. And it's another very good start for Berke Besler. So through he goes. Following suit is Mauricio van der Laan. Carlos Leon, I think, has dropped to 3rd place. Looks like Hugo Ellis has held on to 4th position. So through they go. Everybody cleanly through the first 2 turns. Into the hairpin at turn 3, which presents some opportunities to overtake. It's a very wide circuit, so you can take lots of speed coming out of the hairpin. And into the left-hander at turn 4. The top 3 are tied together, just like they were in the first race, with Besler, van der Laan and Leon, the top 3. Hugo Ellis leading the huge train of karts that's battling over 4th place currently, but he's coming under fire, isn't he? Down into the left-hander at turn 6, so there could be a change for 4th place. There has been a change for 4th place as they go through. I think it's Taylor Greenfield that got through to the head of the group. So Taylor up into 4th place now, by my reckoning, the Peruvian driver ahead of Hugo Ellis. But we're looking at the top 3. We're looking at the pole sitter, Berke Besler. There is the second train of karts. And yes, it was Taylor Greenfield, the PDB racing driver, ahead of Hugo Ellis. So they swapped around for 4th and 5th positions at the end of the first lap of the race. It's 3 abreast, though, as Berke Besler comes under assault into the first turn and loses not only the lead, but he drops to 3rd place. So they were absolutely together as they crossed the line. 69 thousandths of a second between all 3 of them. But Besler at the front of the field got all the wind resistance. They both picked up a tow and got alongside him. So with the darker helmet, it's Mauricio van der Laan. The lighter yellowish helmet is Carlos Leon in 2nd place. And then with the white suit and the red, or the orange and green helmet, that's Berke Besler, demoted from 1st to 3rd at the start of the lap. In the background, it looks to me like Hugo Ellis has got back up into 4th place. John Brown has gone through. Brett Ward has gone through. And Taylor Greenfield has dropped down several positions and is now out of 4th place. Top 3 make their way into the right-hander at turn 8. Into the left, almost an S-bend section. This flowing circuit. Different lines to be taken into that left-hander. Tight lines and wide lines, both, I'm told. You'll see this in the track guide tomorrow with Brett Ward and Ollie Varney. Both lines seem to work. Through they go, the top 3. And in the first race earlier on today, Berke Besler dropped to 3rd place, but he soon came back at them in the second half of the race. 4th and 5th are nose to tail. It is Hugo Ellis and Brett Ward. Taylor Greenfield down to 6th. Jonathan Brown crosses the line in 7th. David Bowman 8th. Escartin and Varney 9th and 10th. And Saul Robinson, he's up into the top 11 now, having started at the back of the grid, the Manchester-based 16-year-old. Who is racing here after a good 4th place finish in the Italian round. Had to work for it during the course of the weekend. So Hugo Ellis and Brett Ward, who are 2 real contenders for the championship this weekend, got to work together now to try and catch the other championship contender, Berke Besler, who goes 2nd into the right-hander. Through he goes into 2nd place. So they can see Berke up now ahead of Carlos Leon. That was into the right-hander down at turn number 8 through turn 9 and 10. They now come flat out and back onto the start-finish straight. And so with the blue helmet, the largely blue helmet, it's Mauricio van der Laan, the race 1 winner. Ahead now of Berke Besler, back up to 2nd place. Berke closes. Can't find a way through into turn 2. Careful on the exit not to scrabble your speed off through the kink and then down towards the right-hand hairpin at turn 3. We're at 1/3 race distance. 3 done, 6 to go. Look at that, fastest lap of the race for Ollie Varney. It just shows how competitive it is in this category when they're all running the same engines, because there are drivers in the races so far that have been down in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th places, all capable of getting the fastest lap of the race. Ollie Varney, though, we know a quick driver. He's had a difficult first lap. He had a difficult first lap in the race earlier on. He is starting on the outside row, which is not helping things. And he has therefore had to fight his way through for both races so far. He's had difficult starts and fought his way through. And he made great progress in the final few laps of the first race to get himself up ultimately into 5th place. He finished 6th, but Berke Besler's penalty put him up to 5th place. There are the top 3 then. Besler coming good now at half distance, but he hasn't been able to shake off Carlos Leon, has he? And Carlos now makes a tidy exit coming out down towards turn 3. They all sort of have a little look down the inside of each other, but nobody makes a move. Fastest lap now belongs to David Bowman, a 60.8. The race leaders are doing 65 zeros. What about Hugo Ellis and Brett Ward in 4th and 5th? 65.1s, and they're not closing the gap to the top 2. Taylor Greenfield in 6th place is every bit as quick as them, but that second group of karts not able to catch up with the front runners. Mauricio van der Laan trying to extend his lead now. He's just pulled a couple of lengths clear. Besler 1 or 2 kart lengths back. Carlos Leon shadowing him. Here they come into the second half of the race now. No danger from behind. They can see the rest of the positions on screen. Greenfield, Bowman and Brown 6th, 7th and 8th. Varney up to 9th. Saul Robinson is there in 10th place. And the top 3 are all back together again. Brett Ward is shadowing Hugo Ellis, but being sensible, not making any hugely risky moves at the moment. All playing a waiting game. And 4 laps to go, including this one. And they're the top 3. Couldn't be closer, but nobody's made a move for a couple of laps yet. Berke Besler, not a driver who's shy to attack, shy to overtake. He could really do with trying to win this one, given the places he lost with that penalty in the first heat earlier on. But second place is better than a risky manoeuvre and a crash and a non-finish. So you've always got to weigh up these things in the heats. Just want to be somewhere near the front of the grid for the pre-final tomorrow. But that said, every single point is going to count because it is so close in the championship. So you want to be up there and scoring good points for the pre-final. Berke Besler, try as he might though, cannot find a way past Mauricio van der Laan. Closes up now through turn 1 as he picks up the toe. Brett Ward is still right on the rear bumper of Hugo Ellis for 4th and 5th positions. Into the right-hander at turn 2 they go. But again, there's no change of position. And then for 6th place, we've got 3, nearly 4 karts now battling away. Taylor Greenfield has got David Bowman and Ollie Varney for company. Ollie up to 8th place ahead of Jonathan Brown. Saul Robinson still in 10th. Escarton just outside the top 10 in 11th place. And there's going to be a change in that battle, that squabble for 6th place, because Ollie Varney has gone through and he's taken with him David Bowman. So they both move ahead of Taylor Greenfield, who drops from 6th down to 8th place. And there's more fighting between them. And the contact down at turn 6. So a couple of them run wide. Ollie Varney's got through it. David Bowman has got through it. Taylor Greenfield, I think, is one of the karts that went off down at turn 6. And another one that's gone off with him from that group, but might have been Brown. Not sure. We'll have a look when they come back around. But that mid-pack group having a bit of a coming together there down at turn 6. So the new race order, no change at the front. It's van der Laan, Besler and Leon still the top 3. Carlos Leon shadowing the top 2. Hugo Ellis is still 4th. Brett Wood is still 5th. In 6th place is Ollie Varney. 7th place is David Bowman. Escartan is 8th. Riker Robinson is 9th. Shani is 10th. Peugeot Bayer 11th. Kamal at 12th. Pelletier, then McMahon 13th and 14th. Robin, and then Bartels. So it was Greenfield and it was Brown that we lost in that incident down at turn 6. They're the ones that dropped out of contention. Real shame for them, as big effort here from Berke Besler to look down the inside of the race leader. You've got to be careful not to give your own position up, though, and Carlos Leon was ready to pounce should Berke have left the door open. He didn't. He got away with it, but he couldn't quite get past the race leader. But that was a big effort. That was as close as he's come to picking up the lead of the race. Mauricio van der Laan, though, has driven flawlessly so far today. He's not left the door open at all. He's not made a mistake. He pulled off that fabulous manoeuvre at the end of the first race to pick up the win. And now he's defending, but he's going to have to defend hard because Berke Besler looks down the inside into turn 1. He's suddenly winding things up, isn't he? He's suddenly itching to get past. But every time he tries a manoeuvre and it doesn't come off, he has to get back, scamper back onto the racing line to cover it off. Behind, meanwhile, Brett Ward has gone up to 4th place, so he's finally found a way past Hugo Ellis. So up to 4th now for Brett Ward. Ellis 5th. Varney in 6th place is probably too far behind to get involved in their scrap, and David Bowman is looking solid in 7th place. Every time Berke Besler tries a move and it doesn't come off, he ends up losing a couple of kart lengths to the race leader. So now, with less than half a lap to go, he's not exactly on the tail of the Spaniards, and Besler might have to settle for 2nd place here unless something really dramatic happens in the last few corners. Berke then works his way through the right-hander, through the left, closing up again to Mauricio van der Laan, but van der Laan has got one more corner to go now. He's looking comfortable, and it is going to be a second win, 2 out of 2 for LTP competition. And Mauricio van der Laan, who takes the checkered flag, Berke Besler in second, and then in third place, Carlos Leon. Brett Ward 4th, Hugo Ellis 5th, Ollie Varney in 6th, David Bowman comes home in 7th place, Escatan in 8th, Robinson 9th, and Shani rounds out the top 10. Fantastic race that then at the head of the field. Drama dotted around. It wasn't quite as lively at the front of the field as it was in race 1, but you never quite knew who was going to win that one. Berke Besler threw everything at it, but Mauricio van der Laan had an answer every single time and was a deserving winner. So it's another good result for the LTP competition team. They take a 1-3. They had a 1-2 in the earlier race. Berke Besler second, and hopefully he'll hold on to the second place this time. Brett Ward for MLC in 4th. Hugo Ellis for Vital in 5th. Ollie Varney for MLC in 6th. David Bowman in 7th place there. And Escartin, Robinson and Shani rounding out the top 10. There, the rest of the runners. And we lost Taylor Greenfield and Jonathan Brown late on with that incident. And we lost Belen Espinar early on in the race. So there, the results of the second X30 senior race here.